cannot believe it is this time of the month again. How are we at the end of the month? I don't know. I am baffled by that. But alas, we are here at the end of the month, which means it is time for the monthly wrap up. So this month was not a very big reading month for me. I was very much trying to adjust to my new schedule at work and trying to get out of a reading slump. So I did not manage to read as many books as I would have liked to, or at least I should say I didn't get a chance to finish as many books as I would have liked to. But I am happy with what I did read. I think I am very much at a place where I've fallen back in love with reading, which feels good to be here. Actually, it feels great to be here. How's your reading month been for you guys? Let me know in the comments down below what you have been reading. If there was any books that you loved, like did you have a 5-star read this month? Yeah, I want to know. Always looking for recommendations. So let me know, drop them in the comments down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button because, well, it helps grow the channel and I love making this content for you guys, hoping to grow the channel. So if you could like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, family, I would really appreciate it. I'm gonna take a sip of this beverage. I am tired and a little bit parched because we just came back from grocery shopping and honestly that took a lot out of me. I genuinely get pretty anxious in like really overstimulating spaces, like a place like a grocery store where there's a lot of people and a lot going on. And today was just one of those days where it was a lot going on, but it was good. I didn't freak out too bad. I put my AirPods in. That helps to calm me down. So I made it through it, but I think the constant like battling, trying to get my body to relax or not think about it just really tires me out. And then we came back. I had to put all the groceries away. So yeah, I'm just a little bit tired, but it is a beautiful day outside again. I think the last time I did my reading wrap up, which was last month, we had it on another beautiful day like today. It's sunny outside. It's quite windy, but the temperature is like perfect. I think it's like maybe 50 degrees outside. It is so nice. Anyways, that's not what we're here for. But in case you were wondering what I was drinking, this is a new flavor. I've not had this before. It's interesting because it's quite sweet. But it's a prime drink. And this one is Future Freeze. This is supposed to taste like rainbow sherbet. I don't even really know what that tastes like because the last time I probably had anything like that was when I was a kid, when my grandma used to give that to me. So I don't know. But it's not bad. It's just really, really sweet. But let's go ahead and jump right in. The first book that I read this month was a Sally Rooney book. I decided that this was going to be the year I was going to get into Sally Rooney. And it seems now that I'm actually reading her books that there's a lot of love-hate relationships with her books, which is confusing to me because I feel like the only reason I had her on my radar was because I was watching people that were talking about her books and how they enjoyed them. So anyways, the first one that I read by her was Beautiful World, Where Are You? And I actually didn't mind this one. I didn't mind this one at all. This one I gave a 4 stars, which was great. I'm trying to remember exactly what happens in this book, but I know that it's like a set of friends. So I think there's like 2 guys and 2 girls. And they're just kind of navigating like friendships and life and romantic relationships and things like that. Really just a journey of discovery. But I think what I'm finding with Sally Rooney's writing so far is she likes a lot of conflict. And the conflict it can be irritating at times because it's just like if you feel like you're watching a train wreck in front of your very eyes and there's nothing that you can do to stop it. So yeah, overall though, I did really enjoy this book. It was a great introduction, I think, to her writing and her writing style. So I definitely enjoyed this one. I then, after that, probably started reading these about the same time, but Jessica and I, of course, we do a buddy read every month, and this month was my pick, and I ended up picking a Catherine Center book, which is The Bodyguard. I feel like everybody has talked about this book that I watch on Booktube, and they've always said really great things, and this is the second book that I've read by her, but this was not my favorite. It wasn't a bad book at all. It was entertaining. It kept my attention, but just not something that I think I would read again. We'll see. I liked the concept of this one because this book was actually about a bodyguard, but the bodyguard is actually the female to a male actor, which I thought was an interesting spin. And you kind of start off like you do in these typical like rom-com like books where our main character is going through things that she doesn't want to deal with in her life, and so she throws herself into work to try to ignore it, and some disastrous thing happens in one of her in her relationship that she is currently in, and it leads to her ultimately figuring out what she wants, who she wants, and so on and so forth. It was interesting. I think the ending, or like the last little bit of the book before we actually get to like the epilogue, threw me off because the main male character, who is like the love interest, I can't remember his name, but he's an actor, and there's this like one scene, I don't want to give anything away because I don't want to spoil it, but he ended up being such a jerk that I was like, what is going on? Where has this guy been this entire time? And he's just like basically saying, you know, I'm such a good actor, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, you are a jerk. But then we end up uncovering what's really going on, which that part threw me for a loop. So overall, I ended up giving this book a 3 stars. Like I said, it wasn't my favorite, but it was good. It was good for what I think what I needed at the time, just to kind of be able to finish a book. I just don't know if I would necessarily read it again, at least not anytime soon. But moving on to the next, I only actually finished 3 books, but I will share the other books that I am currently reading or started this month. No, I lied. I finished 4 books. So, the next book is another Sally Rooney, which is Normal People. I decided that this month was just going to be a Sally Rooney month, apparently. No, but in all honesty, I really just wanted to read her entire, like, library of books because I really want to read Intermezzo. I've heard a lot of really great things about that book, and I figured before I just dove right into that, I wanted to read her earlier work. And I read Normal People. This one I gave a 3 stars. I would say this one I probably gave like a 3.2 stars. I did enjoy this one, but we follow 2 main characters, and also, if you did not know this, because I didn't until after I finished reading it, Normal People is actually a TV show. I think it's like a little short series that they did on Hulu, and I've actually started watching it, and it's so, I love that I found it after I read the book, because it's like you get to exactly what you read on paper, you're now actually seeing, and they're doing it actually really, really well. So if you have read Normal People and you want to check out the show, I definitely recommend it. But it basically follows 2 main characters. One, what's her name? It starts with an M. What is her name? Let's find out. But we've got our 2 main characters, and it's Marion, and then we've got Connell. And I correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like, so at least all of the 2 books that I've read by her so far, they've all been based in Ireland. So I don't know if all of her books are based in Ireland, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. Anyways, so they basically they go to school together, and Connell's mom actually works for Marion's mother. She's like their housekeeper of sorts. And so Colin has always kind of like known her and been around her, but they don't have like a real like friendship or anything like that. Marion is kind of the outcast, I would guess, in her school, but she's super, super smart. And I actually, to an extent, liked her character because she kind of stood her ground. And even when she was getting bullied by people at school, or when teachers would call her out on something, she would just kind of be like, leave me alone. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not hurting anybody, and I'm still here learning. So what? Like, what's your issue? And I like that, but there is definitely, again, that weird train wreck that you're watching happening that I've been getting when I read her books. It feels very toxic how the relationship is formed. They end up having a relationship, but they want to keep it hush hush, or I should say Connell would prefer to keep it hush hush because he's the popular boy in school, and he doesn't really want to, I guess, hurt his persona, we'll call it. I don't know, but overall it's interesting. This book goes from when they're teenagers into early adult life, and you just kind of see how their relationship, like, they very much rely on each other, yet they never really want to fully commit. So I don't know, it was an interesting book, and I am very much enjoying the TV show as well. I think I'm only on like second episode, but doesn't have very many episodes, maybe like 8 if that. So that is that. And then the last book that I actually finished today, which is great. It was Legendary. I finally finished this book. I started this a while back, but I read Caraval, I want to say, I think it was last year or the year before. I can't remember which year it was, but I had read that, and then I realized that there was 2 more books in the series, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll get around to those. And I picked up Legendary, started reading it, put it down. I think it was just really hard for me to get into, because this one actually follows the sister from the first book. Donatella, I think is her name. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, this one was kind of like the same thing as Caraval, where you're going through Caraval, essentially, which is kind of like this weird circus event that is happening, and you're competing to win, and there is this person that is in control of it. He is Legend. I think they call him Master Legend or something like that. And yeah, it basically just follows the sister and her journey on going through that, trying to see if she can figure out what happened to their mom. And yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, but the reason I ended up picking this book back up is, for one, it just felt like I left something unfinished because I had gotten halfway through the book and just put it down. But I really want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I don't know if it's necessarily important to read the entire series before going into that one, but I've always heard that it's better to read the Caraval series before going into Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I just want to finish that and get to Once Upon a Broken Heart and see what that's all about. But I will say, if I read all these, get to Once Upon a Broken Heart, and then I don't enjoy that book, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be a little sad because to be truthful, did not enjoy this one as much. I think I gave this one a 3 stars. So yeah, that was my thoughts on that. But those are the books that I actually completed this month. But I did start, how many other books did I start? I think I just started one more book. Yeah, one more book. And that was Magnolia Parks. I'm finally getting into the Magnolia Parks series. I know I'm very, very late to the party. But here's the thing. I just didn't care about the book. What I was hearing about it just didn't sound interesting. It just took someone making this comparison to completely change my mind. Also, the fact that everybody was reading it and I felt like I was missing out. Who else can relate to that? I always feel like I'm missing out when there's like buzz around something, but I'm not. I'm one of those people that I just don't like to I don't like to do what everybody else is doing most of the time. But anyways, I decided to pick it up because someone made a comparison of it being very similar in a sense to the Addicted series, and I can see where that comes from. I think that our love interests in this book have a very toxic relationship with one another, kind of like how you saw in the Addicted series. The male main character he has addictions. He does have addictions for sure. So I think that was like a really good comparison, and I ended up really and truly loving this book. I am very close to being done. I'm just really going super slow with it because I am enjoying it, and this book I think is the one that has brought me back to life and pulled me out of my reading slump. But I am 84% the way through, so I'm so close to being done, but I just don't want to rush it because even though I know there's 4 more books in the series, I know once it's over, and that newness of what you get when you read a book like this, or a book that is, I don't know if I'm gonna call this a 5-star read yet, we'll see, but a book that is like a 5-star read, you can't really get that feeling again, so until you find your next one anyways. But yeah, otherwise that book would have been done by now. But yeah, those are all the books that I read this month. Not a lot, but overall, I don't want to worry about how many books I'm necessarily reading as long as I'm enjoying reading. Because if I read just for the sake of reading, then, well, this is going to be hard to keep up with because it won't be that fun anymore. So, anyways, that is it. That's all I have to share with you guys. Drop it in the comments down below if you made it till the end and what book you found this month to be your favorite, or a book that you are looking forward to reading. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.